Google Forms. In this video, I'm going to explain to you how you can use them, and then I'm going to show you the basics. I'm not going to show you all the complexity, but the basics of creating a Google form. First of all, Google Forms are a great tool to collect basic information. I have a couple different Google Forms I use on a regular basis. I have a podcast that I do every week, and one way that I onboard my podcast guest is that I've created a Google form that asks for all the information that I need, and I collect all that information through the Google form, and it puts it into a Google spreadsheet that I can then look at and sort and copy data out of and manage all of my guests from that data that's in the spreadsheet that I collected from the Google form that my podcast guests filled out. Really easy to do. I'm going to show you how to create a very simple Google form that you can start using today. So first of all, log into your Google account. I'm logged into my burrisconsulting@gmail.com. What I'm about ready to show you, you can do this with Gmail or with Google Workspace. When you're in your Google account, go to Google Drive, drive.google.com. It's that easy. Now, from here, I put all my forms in a folder so that I know where they are. Here's all my Google Forms stuff. So here they all are there. Just know where you're putting it. Makes it easier to go back and get it later. Then click on New, and then click right down here, Google Form. Just click on that. Now I'm creating a Google form. Don't worry about a name just yet. Be clear about what information you want to collect, and then as you're putting that together, you'll figure out what name to give it. So what's the very first question? Often it may be the name, maybe the person's name. Maybe I want to break it up and I want to say first name, and I make a short answer. The options are short answer, big long paragraph, multiple choice, check boxes, etc., etc. Well, you know what? Short answer. Now, once I do first name is short answer, I want to make it required because I do need them to tell me their name. And then if I click the three dots right here, I can say, give me the description. And I can say, tell me your first name, please. Very polite, okay? Now I can duplicate this and create my second field that I want to collect. Hit that right there, and I can change first to last. And I can come down here and change first. Double click to last. And now I'm collecting first name and last name. And that's the short answer, and then they are both required. Now, I can create another field. Here's the other field. Now, what else do I want? I want to know their email address. So, email address. And so I can say it's a short answer, or it's multiple choice. Here's my options. Short answer is probably the best suggestion here. Go over here and make this required. Click on the three dots right here. Do description. Please tell me your best email address to be able to get a hold of you. All right, so I have first name, last name. Now I could have made this all one field, full name if I wanted to, but maybe I want to break it up. Now, here's some other fields I can do. So let's say, I want to invite them to be a guest. What is the best day for this podcast recording? Multiple choice, date. There we go. I can ask them to tell me the best day. And so they'll fill in month, day, and year. I can make that required again if I want to. And I can go over here and do a description and say, this, I will try to make myself available on this day. All right, doesn't say I promise I will. And now maybe I want to also do time. So let's replicate this. What is the best time of day for this podcast reporting? Change this to time. I will try to make myself available at this time. I'm just showing you examples of what you can do here. Make that required as well. Now, maybe there's more other data. Now, by the way, I've got an idea for my title now, and I could click on my title form, and I could name this podcast guest submissions. Now, If I go up here and click on the title here of the file, this is the title of the form. Look what it's going to do. It's going to pull that in there. And so form description, this is the form we use to gather data on our podcast guest. All right. Now, I can keep going and add more and more fields of more and more data I want to collect here. Again, I can add another question, all different types of questions. Maybe I want to have a paragraph, topic. And maybe I don't need that required, but maybe I do need to tell them, tell me a little about the topic you will discuss, please. So bottom line is these are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different fields of data I'm collecting through this Google form. And there's lots of other options I can do. There's lots of other, processes I can put if I want to. I can insert, I can add a section. So it puts a break here. And this right here could be, maybe your online presence information. And a section basically will let me fill this all out. And then it'll change the screen and go to this, to the second section. And so I can add fields below that. And I can say, what is your LinkedIn profile URL? Short answer. If I want to, I can make that required or not required. If I want to give a description, please share the full URL. Or type in not applicable. So I can go on and on and on all I want to create more and more fields. Let's go to the next step. The next step is to share this with someone. So I have my data I want to collect. These are the fields I want to get data for. So now I want to share this with somebody. Well, it's really pretty easy. Right here, send. I can send that. And I can say collect email addresses or do not collect email addresses. Now, there may be a reason to collect email addresses, such as you want to give them the ability to edit the form, or you want to send the form to them as they fill it out. There's other reasons to collect email address. But I can send it to them by email just by typing in their email address. I can get the URL, or I can get the embed code embedded on a website. I often go for the URL and I hit shorten. That way I get this short little link and I copy that and then I go send it to people. And so when I send it to them, they fill it out. And this is how they will fill it out. I'm going to go to a blank window as if somebody else is looking at my form. I'm going to paste the URL of the form and boom, there's the form for them to fill out. And they'll fill out Teddy. I'll type in as best I can. I should be grammatically correct. And my email address. And what's the date I want to do? I can look at a calendar. I want to do this on Monday the 18th. What time is a good time for me? I can hit the down arrow here and say, AM. So I want to do it at, 11:15 AM is the best time for me. And what's the topic I'm going to talk about? And so I type in my topic. That's all the stuff I'm going to talk about. And then I hit next. Remember, it's going to go to the second section. And what's my LinkedIn profile URL? I put that in there. And then I hit submit. Now, by the way, when a user fills out your Google form, if they don't get your response has been recorded, it wasn't recorded. They have to get that or it was not recorded. And because I didn't restrict them, they can submit another response. Now, what's that going to look like for you? Let's go look at it from your side. So here's my Google form. Look, I have one response that just got filled out. I can click on one response and there it is right there. Now, if I want to manage this in a Google Sheet, look here, link to sheet, click on that, create a new sheet and hit create. And now it opens up the sheet and there it is right there. At this time, this day and time, Teddy Burris, email address, the date he wants to do it, the time he wants to do it, the content he wants to talk about. Let me fix that and wrap it so it's easy to read. This is what he's going to talk about, and this is his LinkedIn profile URL. So really simple to do. And again, if you go back to the form and you hit this send button, and you don't need to hit it every time, you're going to get exactly the same short code every time. You can send that to as many people as you want, wherever relevant and appropriate, and you can get people to fill it out so that, again, you can start collecting this information in your Google Sheet and then do whatever you want to do with the data, copy it out, play with it, edit it however you want to edit it. The next entry is going to show up right down here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's do another entry. If I preview, which is the same thing as someone else looking at it, and I put Lee Adams, I put Lee at AOL.com, and I say I want to do it on this day, and I want to do it at 9 a.m., and I'm going to talk about cowboys and kittens, and then I hit next, and I put my URL, Lee at LinkedIn.com. This is not appropriate, but I'm going to save it anyway. And look what the user's going to get. Look what you're going to get in your spreadsheet. Look, 2 responses. And now if I click on the view and sheets, right there it is. I have 2 entries. So really easy to use. Now a lot of things I didn't show you. You can put images. If I go back to the questions, I can put images in here. I can put hyperlinks in here. On the questions, I can put an image in front of the question. There's other sections I didn't show you. I can add title and description. I can import questions. I haven't actually experimented with that. I can add a video if I want to. And I can also, if I want, I can create conditions after section 1, continue to the next section, or go, I can say go to section 1, go to section 2, whatever. There's lots of different things I can do with this Google form, so I can make it even more powerful. And there are also add-ons or extensions that you can add to Google Forms from the Google Marketplace to make them even more sophisticated. One more thing I want to show you is under Settings. I can manage how responses are collected. I can say collect their email address. If I collect their email address, then I can also send them a copy of their forms or what they filled out. I can also allow them to edit it if I want to. And by the way, I can limit it to 1 response if they are signing into Google. And if you're using Google Workspace, you also have to say, I want to make this accessible to people outside of my Google domain. That's another field that shows up when you're using Google Workspace differently than using Gmail. And there's a few other, manage how the form and responses are presented. You show progress bar, shuffle, a confirmation message, your response has been recorded. I can change that and say your response has been, we have received your response, your submission. Thank you for your help. So it's a little bit more personal. Show link to submit another response. If disabled by, so up top here, I've probably disabled that. Limit to 1 response. I turn that off. Then show link to another response. So I can turn that off if I want to, so that don't make it easy. Disable autosave. So there's a bunch of settings that are worthy of paying attention to. Google Forms are a really useful tool for collecting information for lots of different reasons. Whether you're collecting data for a podcast show, you're collecting data for speakers to your event, maybe you're doing a survey to ask people what they thought of a particular event or presentation or conversation. It's all about collecting data for lots of different reasons, and can be a very powerful tool. Again, you can do it in free Gmail or Google Workspace, and that data can be collected in a Google Sheet. I'm Teddy, your Google Workspace and Gmail guy. Hope this quick entry into using Google Forms is useful for you.